Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 3 of our startup classes. I am really excited about tonight's topic. It's one of my favorites, and I'm just ready to get started tonight. Before we get started, let me just look at who is on here tonight. If you are joining us and you don't have your video on, can you please put that video on so we can see your face? Because this is an interactive startup and we don't want people sleeping in the background. So if we could see you, it's very, very helpful. Hi, Mandy. I'm glad you could join us. So Linda, are you able to get your video on? Lana, Vicky? That would be awesome, so we can see each other. Some of you would be able, may be able to do the gallery view if you want to. But anyway, I want to welcome all of you. I really, it may be hard to believe, but I still get inspiration by seeing the people who show up. And that's kind of the indicator of who is going to be successful. Leaders show up. They show up for everything, and they are the most dedicated of anyone else in the room, and their downline members will follow that cue. Before we get started, I don't know if you can see this, I have my Ooh La La shirt on tonight, and I want to share with you that Megan, can you wave, Megan, so everybody can see you? Megan made silver today. She started her business in July. She had been a product user, didn't have any interest in the business. And I'm going to have her maybe share a little bit later this evening. But she took an interest to the business, probably closer to August, right, Megan? And here she is already silver. She and her team are doing explosive growth. They are coachable. They do the duplicable steps, not just doing everything that the old traditional businesses do. They are doing the duplicable steps of network marketing, which takes them to the top a lot faster. And Megan, I just want to congratulate you also on how you equip and mentor others to do the same. That's a skill to have, so congratulations. Leslie, where is Leslie tonight? Are you on here? Laura, do you see Leslie? I just want to give her a shout out too. Leslie is making this nice little 90-degree upward, and I'm going to predict she will be the next silver in our group. She's got some team members on here tonight. She's a phenomenal mentor, and she's very coachable as well. So you guys are among some fast-growing builders, so watch them and mimic them. This is a business where copycatting is a key. So when we were young, it wasn't so cool. You're a copycat. Well, now it earns us lots of career income when we do that. Over the last couple of weeks, this is a condensed version that we're doing, so we don't get to go into details with each of our skills, but you're getting a basic foundation. So I suggest that you grab some books that I think are good ones. The Game Plan is a good one. I like Building an Empire and this little Comp Plan book. These are all books that can help you in knowing the details of the lessons that we're going through. So those are some resources you'll want to look at. So far, we have gone through your story. Remember, your story is the foundation to all your marketing. You are branding you. Why should someone follow you? That is the key. So don't give your power away by promoting others. So if you see a really cool video or you see something that's cool, see if you can duplicate that yourself so that you're branding you. Now, some things you want an expert giving you third-party validation. So yes, you share some things, but like basic things, you know, if you're applying the oils, if you see a really cool video about applying the oils to your dog, let's say, if you have a dog, then go ahead and make your own video so you can brand yourself. But going back to our first lesson, your story. What's your story? Why are you passionate about this business? And how deeply do you believe? What is your mission? What are you going to tell people? That's a very important foundational step, is what is your story and why should people follow you? The second thing we went over is, what is a good class? What should you be doing in that class? Sorry, I just wanted to grab these. We talked about you have to be duplicable, and we really emphasize how these little books help you be duplicable, because if you go through these little books as your script, people are going to say, oh my gosh, I can do that. I'm just sharing a book. So these are from Oil Revolution Designs, if you want to do that. But this is your script for your class. Then we talked about inviting. How do we invite? Is it just announcing it one time on Facebook? And we know the answer is no. Inviting is a skill in and of itself. We want 4 to 5 touches to people. So as we talked about, it may be a save the date card, it may be a flyer, it may be a text, it may be a phone call, and it may be physically picking them up or whatever it is. But you want 5 touches when you invite people. People are busy. If you just say, hey, there's a class on Tuesday, most likely they're going to forget. So you have 5 touches. Now, tonight we're going to look at something called follow-up. I want, as you're taking your notes, just a moment, I'm gonna mute everybody. As you're taking your notes, follow-up, I think, is overused and nobody knows what that means. So I want you to put a new phrase in your notes tonight. Follow-up means new customer orientation. New customer orientation. Now, there's 3 other types of follow-up I'm going to talk to you about tonight, but we're just going to focus on new customer orientation for this moment, because for new startups, that is your key. But I want to go through the other ones as well. So let's just do the basic, and then we'll come back to this. As we do the follow-up, one of the things I want, I hope you can remember this, is I like to use the Ghostbusters analogy. Who you gonna call? And it better be you. So we don't want them calling Ghostbusters. We want them calling you. So when a new person enrolls with their kit, who are they gonna call? They're gonna call you. So what makes you so special? Follow-up does. So let's find out, what basic things do we do in new customer orientation? Now I'm going to give you the 2-minute version, and then we're going to go back. So somebody just enrolled with their kit. Okay, 7 days has gone by. Most likely they have received their kit from Young Living by now. So you're going to, you can do this a couple different ways. texting them if you want to, and just say, just making sure your Young Living kit came in, and then just see if they're there, or call them. And it takes less than 2 minutes. And use this term, courtesy call or courtesy text. Just sending you a courtesy text. Want to make sure that your oils arrived on time. I want to serve you well. Something like that. You can even leave that in a message. Touch number 1, okay? But while you do that, you're going to put in the mail this little welcome book. Welcome. And I buy the small ones. And this little book is nice because it goes through and it really lets them know about the Young Living lifestyle. And a lot of people worry, is this going to be overwhelming? And the answer is no, because it's pretty. It's something you can put on, you know, up on your shelf or on your coffee table. It's very pretty, and nobody's going to worry about that. And it really goes through and shows the lifestyle of Young Living. I think it's a great little introduction. Also in this, I put a little personal note. So I have these, you can do a couple different things. I posted an official welcome letter in the files. That's cool if you want it official. I sometimes do that. But Connie is notorious for little Post-it notes. So I like to stick them right on here and say, this is one of my favorite books. You're going to enjoy this too. You know, Young Living is one of the best decisions you have ever made. Big smile face, maybe a heart sticker. And send that in the mail. Okay, or if you like more of a formal, not a formal approach, but the welcome letter, like if you look at that, it has like my information, where they can find me on Facebook. So you can put that in there too, whatever you want to do to keep that connection. This is week number 1, okay? Week number 2. We want to start expanding their new customer orientation into knowing that Young Living is a lifestyle. So I like to send in week 2 the Aroma Home Book. I want them to know about why creating a healing home is so important. And notice again, Connie's famous little Post-it notes here. I've got them on a couple of pages. I mark the things that I think are really important, and then I mark those with the Post-it notes, and I put a little thing that this is really key for me, or this is one of the key things that I learned, something like that. And this is week number 2. You are all probably wondering, now what? Which leads us to week number 3. Now what? Now what? This is a nice little book that goes through each of the systems. So here, like lymphatic, here's your plan. Reproductive, here's your plan. Very inexpensive. All of these books are about $3.50 if you're a preferred member with Life Science Publishing. Their website is www.discoverlsp.com. You can get these for very reasonable. This is a really nice week 3 follow-up. Okay, again, Post-it notes, or a little letter, maybe announcing a class you're having, or maybe you're going somewhere and you would like to take them with, anything to that manner. And then the last week, week 4, is the Aroma Clean. And this goes into, now I'm gonna post it. In case they didn't read Aroma Home, the first part of this is on Aroma Home. But as soon as you get to the middle, let me show you what happens. cleansing of the body. We have to clean our house, but now we want to know the benefits of cleansing. And we want to know how to elevate our life. And we want to know the 10 benefits of cleansing. And our all-star 4 core nutrition. If you can make a case for these 4, you are going to have people on consumable products that will keep your business going. They're already buying probably something like this at their local stores. Now they're just learning to switch to Young Living. Okay, now that's your basic week 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me go into a little detail now. When you look at these 4 books, you're going, wow, $350, $350, $350, and I think this one's, I haven't looked at the price, it's around $4 to $5. But anyway, you add these up, and you're gonna come out to about $23, right? 24, something like that. I wanna share with you the marketing budget that you have, and look at how brilliant Young Living designed the comp plan. When you enroll somebody with a starter kit, you are given a commission of 25% of the PV. So 25% of 100 PV is $25. Young Living also gives you this beautiful starter kit bonus, a flat commission of $25. So you get a total of $50 plus whatever else they may order, but you get a $50 commission on that starter kit. You can keep that $25, but that flat rate, that $25 flat rate, Young Living gave that to you to use for your follow-up. Because guess what? If you invest back into your people with new customer orientation, they're going to know more of the value of their starter kit. They're going to expand the knowledge that they have about the total lifestyle products of Young Living, and they're going to understand why these products are better and even more economical in most cases if you use them over time. And so this $25 that Young Living gives you, if you invest that back into your people, you are going to be rewarded over and over and over again. I've told you before, I have had Essential Rewards customers for over 18 years. And because they've been given the value in the beginning, they don't waver. They have loved the products for that many years. Isn't that incredible? And so do it right in the beginning. That investing that $25 is going to be so worth it for you in long-term customers. And so when we go back through these little booklets, why are they strategic? Let's look at why they're strategic. So this, as I said before, introduces them to a nice little overview of all the lifestyle products. The Aroma Home Book introduces them to the foundation of everything. Write this down in your notes. Do you realize you can do all the healthy eating you want? You can be as fit can be. You can do everything correct. However, if you are poisoning yourself every day with hidden toxins in your home, you're negating every good thing that you're trying to do for your health and your body. So health starts with a healing home. And what's interesting is people don't realize that there are hidden toxins that companies do not have to reveal that are in the very products you use every day. So some of the key brand names are some of the biggest issue creators. So just know that they are hidden toxins in your personal care. So emphasize to people that your healing home is your foundation. It's the foundation to productivity, the foundation to joy, the foundation to balancing hormones. It's the foundation of feeling productive and vibrant. And so the healing home. The other cool thing about this little book, one of your biggest objections, how do I afford it? This gives the case, not the benefits of essential rewards. It's talking about how do I afford it? People aren't realizing they are already buying these products from another store. They're buying them from Target or Costco or Walmart or somewhere. They're already buying the very products that they're wondering if they can afford. All they're going to do is they're going to take that same budget and begin buying from their own Young Living account. Now, what's cool about that is they get these free points. If they do the Essential Rewards, the customer loyalty program, they get these free products. Target doesn't do that. Walmart doesn't do that. I don't know any store that does that. Young Living gives away a lot of free products with their free points. Plus, there's other bonuses to get free points. So this is a great way to introduce them to how do I afford it. And then there's a little list in here. Of what are the products I'm already buying, and now over here, what are the Young Living products I can replace them with. So this is a really cool little book to really begin to build that new customer orientation. The now what, it goes through the systems. But I want to also tell you, though, for example, if someone's interested in the immune system now that it's winter time, over here they're going to create their 4-month wellness plan. But I want to share with you something, because I went through this with a lady who wanted some hormone balance, and she called me the other day and she goes, "Oh, I feel great. I won't need you anymore." So I had to, whoa. I had to go back because I was so busy. I didn't do all the follow-up the way it should have been done. I needed to visit with her about this further. So it really hit home when I went, oops, this is why new customer orientation is important. So when you use this book, if they make a plan, here's what I do now. I make sure that the Aroma Clean is paired with this one. Let me tell you why. So let's say this is on the immune system because it's winter. We make a plan. What I want to show people is in the Aroma the Aroma Clean book, send them to page 34. This is your maintenance. The all-star team of nutrition, this is your maintenance. So even though you're feeling great, you're feeling balanced, you want to keep that maintenance going. And my philosophy is with health, we're either going to pay for it in the front with good, healthy choices, or we're going to pay for the sick care on the back end of health. So we're either going to pay for it in the beginning or the end. I want to pay for it now with good health, investing in my health, because I want to live to be that, 99-year-old grandma where they're going, where is she? Oh, she's out hiking her 5 miles today, that kind of thing. So that's what we want to do, is encourage people to invest in their health and to become the CEO of their own health. So maybe jot that down in your notes, the CEO of your own health, because when you go, you always want to check with your healthcare professional. Of course you do. Life happens and we might have to go in and get checked or whatever. But remember, you're the CEO of your health, You make the decisions for those health choices with good education. So that's a simple follow-up, but personalize it every time. Don't just send a book with no note. Okay? Make sure that you put a personal note in there so they know you care. So now the next question that you may be thinking is, wow, how am I going to do this with so many people? Remember, you personally are probably enrolling 1 to 2 people every month. 1 to 2, 1 to 2. Okay, that's an average. Some months you might get 0, but on an average you get 1 to 2. The key to this business is that you show the next person how to follow up with their personally enrolled. That's the key. You don't do it for them. You equip them to follow up themselves. Now let's go back to the time it takes. If I have this all laid out and I have a brand new person, if I schedule less than 15 minutes a day for the people that I enroll, it takes me just a couple of minutes to write a note and stick this in the mail. And you're only enrolling that 1 to 2, 1 to 2. So if you have 2 from last month you're doing and 2 from this month, you're working with 4 people. Is that overwhelming, guys? No. Be consistent. I know you all have day jobs, and so you want to schedule Young Living like a real job. So if you have a traditional job during the day, in your calendar, find 30 minutes that you can schedule where it says follow up, new customer orientation. Put that in your calendar, because where are you going to do it? Now, let's say that you're just starting out and you're done in 10 minutes and you still have 20 minutes scheduled. Well, maybe then do some phone calls or do a scheduling or set up a calendar event, something like that. But use your time well. Put in real hours into your business. Leslie, can I have you? Leslie and Megan are helping me with this set of classes, so I keep calling on them to make a comment. But Leslie, one of the things you told me, you had your own business besides working for the school district, and you told me how important that setting that hours is. Do you want to comment on, because you're a fast-growing leader, how has that made a difference, setting real hours?
Well, I work a regular job during the day, and I have to show up at a certain amount of time. So if you look at your own business exactly the way you do for when you're working for someone else, you can be very successful. Because I have to work at my regular job, and then my husband and I have a business together that we have to schedule certain times in. So when I started the Young Living business, I was like, well, I have to figure out where I can plug that in, and that's always the times that I plug it in. So I know on Thursdays, this is one time we're in the car for an hour, maybe 3 hours. That is my day for texting, calling, and follow-ups, because I'm sitting in the car. My husband's driving, so that is a definite time of work. I have other days that I schedule too, but that's what I did to make it feel like a real business. I come in my office here, I make my phone calls, I make my texts, I check my virtual office. I just made sure I had scheduled hours, because I didn't want to be a dabbler. I wanted it to be a real business.
I love that you use the word dabblers. One of the things that we always talk about is people will not follow a dabbler. They will go with somebody else. So if you are on this startup call, be committed, be dedicated, set your hours and talk about your business. And people will follow you. Who are you going to call? Remember, they're going to call you if you set yourself up as a real business. You want them calling you. And so every one of you wants to develop so that the next time we have these business calls, you're the one helping me to talk about follow-up and duplication and all of that. So be coachable. Take every word we say literally so that you can duplicate this business faster. And these ladies helping me have done just that. And so be the go-to leader by setting those hours. Megan, do you want to come on and talk about, do you have set hours, or how do you handle that?
I don't really have set hours, but I work, my other job is I'm on call basically 7 days a week. So I'm on the computer 7 days a week when I'm not, when my phone isn't ringing and I'm not doing emails for the resort that I work for, then I'm spending time on Young Living, because when my other job is slow, I can't just run off and do things because I'm kind of tied to the phone all the time. So I'm just basically on my computer all day, every day.
And so you're kind of like Leslie, where both of you have kind of utilized dead time. Mm-hmm. So we all have the same 24 hours. We're all busy. We're all over busy, right? I mean, none of us have an excuse. We're all busy. So where are you going to find it? And so I love that both of them said they find it in these times when they can fill in a space somewhere else. So these when I say regular hours now, for Megan, it's interwoven into the day that she already sets. And for Leslie, she's using the only time she has, like her main time is during that car ride. Brilliant. I remember when I started, it was waiting for kids. I was using my phone in the car while I was waiting to pick up kids. And is that considered regular hours? Well, I had to. That was the only time I had to make it work. And so you find that time, but the key word, and write this as big as you can on your notebook, consistency. That's the biggest key to follow up, is be consistent. Be consistent. And, you know, follow-up can take many forms. I gave you the basics. I know Megan had even asked me, she goes, well, I do it a little bit different. If you, let's say you wanted to put in an animal book in here because that was your total niche. It's okay as long as it's a system that you're using. Week 1, week 2, week 3, that's your system. So for example, sometimes I even alternate. I might take out the Now What book and I might put in a men's book if I'm working with a man. So, but it's a consistent system. Does that make sense? You're going to be sending something every week. Or it might be somebody that's like head over heels over beauty. I might substitute the beauty book. Does that make sense, everybody? So it's okay to vary it. Maybe you, I had one of Megan's team said, there is just no way I can make a phone call. So she chooses to do the texting to make sure the person gets their kit. Totally fine. People text nowadays. They love it. Texting is probably more effective than phone calls. So, you know, if that's your way of communication, great. I had another, well, let's see. I think it was, who did I talk to? Was it Whitney? Who were we talking last week? Anyway, you said that your key mode of communication was email. So we want to meet people where they are, right? So whatever that key is. Follow-up takes most of my time as a business person. Because if you spend time with the follow-up, that's where your sustainability is going to come in. So spend most of your time or equal time on your follow-up. You're going to be prospecting, doing classes, inviting, all of that. But on the other side of the coin, you're going to be doing follow-up, new customer orientation, and that's going to pay off big for you. Here's a key note to put in your notebook. Ready? Enrollments are not the victory. Essential rewards is the victory. I'll repeat that. Enrollments are not the victory. Essential rewards is the victory. So why would I say that? So here's what happens in our industry. People can enroll people lickety-split, and they enroll all these people, and then what happens? They fade away. That's why our business gets such a bad reputation, because nobody is caring for their people. So I want to share with you, new customer orientation is the key to a professional network marketing business. We want to love on people. We want to care for people. We want to serve people. Here's another gem. Profits follow service. So a lot of your other network marketing companies, they want the fast buck. They want to get people enrolled, get the bonus, get out of there. That's not what we do in Young Living. We are here to serve people and educate them in this lifestyle that's going to change their life. And so we want to make sure that we are a person of service. And it doesn't take that much time. And if you do the 4 weeks of follow-up, you're going to have those people for 18 years, just like me. That's going to sustain your business. That's why your business is an asset that you can give to your children or your grandchildren. It will last way beyond your lifetime if you do it right. So when you make that text or that call and you do connect, find out what stood out for them at that class. And remember, your class, your class is based around this little book. Don't change that. Don't start people with a DIY class. Start them with a 101 class. So let me share with you, there's a gal that's doing a DIY class tonight, one of her first classes. She's very new, and I said, okay, let's think about that. If you do a DIY class, they're going to get a nice little gift, and they're going to go home and nothing's going to happen. So what you want to do is you want to take your Fields book, do a little class on how great the oils are, all of your experiences, why they're wonderful. Here's the starter kit. Now we're going to do our DIY with the starter kit. That's how you do it. Okay, so if you're kind of into a little variation, that's fine, but always use your duplicable way of doing this starter kit. I also want you to know that if you're having a class and people say, well, I just can't afford it. Okay, so what we want to do then is we need to follow up with those people as well, right? Or maybe they say, oh, I have to go ask my husband or something like that. Now we're going to switch gears to a different type of follow-up. Have any of you had classes where people didn't sign up right away and they walked home? Okay, so let's talk about that kind of follow-up. That's different, isn't it? Okay, so this is a different follow-up, and so we can call that prospect follow-up if you want to. But I say prospects because they have potential, but they just weren't ready to get the kit yet. So we have to now think about, well, why didn't they get the kit? Because we know those, I can't afford it, or I got to ask my husband, all of those. Those are excuses that they either don't know why it's important to them, or they haven't connected the economic value, or they don't have enough information yet. Would you agree with those statements? Now, when I first started, I took that very personal. Did you take it personally when they walked away and didn't get a kit? So we have to remember that they just need more information. They haven't made a connection yet. So you have to be a little bit savvy in kind of reading people. So sometimes you get a chance at that class to ask them a question, and then that will clarify. So you might say, if they said, oh, I have to go home and ask my husband, or if they say, oh man, I really can't afford it right now. Hey, totally cool, no worries. If I could just ask you one question, if there was one thing, if you could wake up tomorrow morning and it wouldn't be an issue, what would that be? Would it be like more productivity, having more energy, not worrying about something? What would that be? And just see what they say, and then just let that be. Cool, okay. Because now, what am I thinking? I'm tucking that away in my head, right? Because I'm going to come back and fulfill a need for them. Remember, we're problem solvers, right? Sometimes too. We want to serve people. So I'm going to plant that right up here and remember that, so that I can follow up with that person in a different way to make that connection for them, why that would fit for them. Another reason is sometimes we focus so heavily on the oils, we forget that some people don't even know what an oil is. And maybe it's a scary thing. So maybe you should talk about the thieves' cleaner. Everybody knows what a cleaner is. Maybe you should talk a little bit about like a Ninja Red feel-good juice or something. Or maybe you should talk a little bit about toxic-free makeup, so that it's not so foreign, and then introduce the oils. So maybe that's a person that walked out. Maybe they're going, whoa, what is this oil stuff? That's weird. So read that. Maybe that's the type of person. We're guessing, but that may be it. Maybe they have had a bad experience with something. So I like to always ask questions. Is there something further that you would like to know about? And I'd be happy to put a little information package together for you. And if you ask them that before they go, that's a great thing to have. And, we talked about having little packets for them at the end of the class. Remember what we talked about in week 1 about the class? Have some little packet, or it could be a sampling. Hold on, let me grab my little sample here. It could be a cute little sample. So, for example, if you were talking about the Sleek, you could have a little information card with a little Sleek oil in there that they could put in their water to take. This is very inexpensive, but cute. Or maybe you had a Bible class and you have this cool little I took the thing out of this, but I have a cool little card about one of the oils. Oops. See that? And then you can make a cool little flyer. I folded this one all up, but it's a flyer on each of the Bible oils. And then you can put that, if that was your class that night, you could put a little sample in there so that they have a take home. Because you don't want anybody leaving without something that they're going to be thinking about and getting more information. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's prospect follow-up. Another part of prospect follow-up might be somebody that you just randomly meet. So remember this from, I think it was last week we did that. Let me take this, let me open it up for you and show you what's inside. We did the demonstration where I handed this over, and remember I said, as soon as you get home, do you remember that? You give people a call to action. So let's say I said, Laura, as soon as you get home, rip this Thieves sample open and you put a drop on your tea bag and sip that tea. It's the best thing you will do for your immune system today. Then put another drop on a paper towel, wave it around. Best thing you're gonna do for your respiratory system today. And there's one additional drop, Laura. Put that on your hands, rub it around, breathe it in. Best thing you can do for your productivity today. So now what I'm telling her to do is inside I had this little Thieves sample, and then remember this little postcard. This is on the Entrepreneurial Facebook group under the files. My friend Terry McCullum made this for me because she said, Connie, you say this all the time. I'm going to make you a pretty postcard for it that everybody can use. So it says right here, if Laura forgot, take one drop, put it on a tea bag. Put one drop, wave it around on a paper towel. Take one drop and put it in your hands. Do you see that? Then what I have in here is this is from Life Science Publishing. It's just a paper with the Thieves, and you can buy these in 25 packs. This is also from Life Science Publishing, right? Then from 31 Oils. 31 Oils. It's a 31oils.com. I got this cool little card. It's kind of a hard card, and it has the starter kit. See that? And it talks about starter kit at a glance. So this, and then I have my business card. So now let me put this back in the packet. This is what I have when I'm out just running around town or wherever, because you never know who you may run into. So let me put this back together so it looks pretty, and then I'm going to show you. So now, see how, it's kind of hard to tell, but see how pretty it looks? So if you have these just ready, you just don't know who you're going to run into. And if you're chatting, these are very inexpensive, but do not give them away just handing them out. Give them away with the instructions. As soon as you get home, tear that Thieves open and do 1, 2, 3, and it's right here. Clear call to action. And then also just say, if you want more information, I'm having a little kitchen table talk. I'm getting a few friends around my kitchen table. Come on over. I'm just going to let everybody smell my oils, and we're going to talk about the value, and come on over. Don't say, come on over, I'm having a class, and bring your friends and you can sign up, and like that's just not cool. Make it inviting. You should consider coming to my house. We're gonna have a little kitchen talk. It's very informal, a few friends over. We're gonna try the oils and put them on and have a lot of fun. That sounds more inviting, doesn't it? Okay, so those are just a couple ideas for prospecting follow-up. Now, let's go back to this. Remember, these were from my class, and I gave them, and do you just let people take these things home and never see them again? No, they'll never talk to you again. so you might want to have a plan. You might want to have a plan in place. So sometimes, and it depends on the situation, I'll say, I'll tell you what, I love that you're taking that sample home. We talked about that. I'm going to loan you my Aroma Clean book, but I got to get this back by Thursday because I'm having another class. So can I pick it up from your work on Thursday at, I can run during my lunchtime. What am I doing there? I'm making an excuse to go get something, right? Because then I can talk to them about their sample, right? It can be anything. I don't care if it's Aroma Clean. It could be a dog book. It could be, whatever you want to loan them. You can loan them the diffuser. Like, let's say they're very stuffy that night. Loan them a diffuser and say, I've got to get my diffuser back tomorrow, though. You can only have it overnight. Okay, does this make sense to you? You got to customize and think on your feet sometimes. This prospecting kit, I don't want to just let them go. Hopefully I know who they are. Like, we live in a smaller town, so more than likely I'll see them, but you want to make sure that you have the information. So what I would do if I say this, Laura, take this home, do XYZ, here it is. Laura, I'll tell you what though, do you have a true interest in the oils, Laura? Or do you have a true interest in creating a healing home? Now look what I'm doing. Do you have a true interest? If she does this, then okay, just let it go. If she goes, well, yeah, I kind of do. Laura, I'll tell you what, I have an information packet. Let's say I don't know Laura. We met in the grocery store. Laura, I do have these sampling packets that I do send out, but it's for people that are truly have an interest. I don't want you to be nice to me. I'm not a salesy, slimy, run you down kind of person. I really want to know if you have an interest because this is where my passion lies. And so if you have a card or something, I'll take that and I'll send you an information packet. Now that also is a way to get them a little bit of information for a very low cost of, a stamp. You don't want to send a lot, but you want to send a little bit just to keep teasing them. And then you have a clear call to action on that. Is this still of interest? Because my next thing is I can send you a small sampling of your interest area. Now notice they have to take an action back to me before I invest any more. Do you see that? Because what happened to me in the beginning, I was just giving people everything, and man, you can go broke doing that. So notice that they get a little bit, but then they have to react for me to give them the next thing. Does that make sense? Again, they have to react before I give them the next thing. This is for prospecting, right? Is that making sense, guys? Okay, good. Good. Okay, that was the second follow-up that we talked about. The third type of follow-up is with your personally enrolled essential rewards. So this is number 3, personally enrolled essential rewards. Now think about this. You've done your 4 weeks of new customer orientation. And you want to tell them that you want to serve them well. You're going to do this 4 weeks. Now, do you want to keep overwhelming them with information after information after information after information after information? So now this is where you want to build a community. Maybe invite them to your Facebook group. Maybe invite them to some classes so that they have a little time to digest all this good information. Does that make sense? And then this is what we call with our own personally enrolled essential rewards people, because we know them, right? we do what we call campaigns. Now that's different than follow-up. Campaigns has a very specific reason for doing them. Now with our personally enrolled essential rewards, we might want to introduce them to a new product. For example, the Savvy Mineral Makeup just came out. They may not know about that yet. So that would be a good information campaign for them. Maybe we have some people with zeros on our personally enrolled and they haven't ordered in a long time. Maybe we want to do something specific for them to interest them to come back. But a campaign can't just be one letter. A campaign is a series of 3 or a series of 4 or sometimes even a series of 6. But it depends. You want to drip on them to get them to understand and welcome them back into your organization. So that's the third thing, is looking at your group, and maybe that it's a call it continuing education follow-up, continuing education follow-up. And the fourth type of follow-up is business. Now, if you remember from the class, with our stories, we already have told people this is our business. We have a passion for this. And we're going to teach them 3 steps or 4 components or, 3 actions or whatever you're going to teach them, but have a number. And if you remember from that, we mentioned that this is my business because of my passion, and that's part of our story, right? And we went through that. And then at the end, we talked about how, most people, that's a key word, most people. Everybody wants to be like most people. So I say something like, most people ask me how to get their products paid for. So I'm going to leave these books here on your coffee table. Feel free to take one, but I have to get them back by Thursday. And just look through the business model, and then I can tell you in just a couple easy steps how to give enough referrals that you can get your products paid for. Now notice, I didn't say you can do a business and you can make a lot of money and you can do that. No, I just said most people want to know how they get their products paid for. And this is the business model. And some people just want to get their products paid for, and some people want to do a full career business like me. But either way, I'm going to set these down on the coffee table. Take one if you want. I need them back by next Thursday. So let's make sure we have our phone numbers and text so that I can pick it up. And that's how I get my business meetings, because now they're going to come and talk to you. They're either going to say yay or nay, but this explains how the business model works. If this seems if this one, if you want to do it in a different order, this one's very simple on the comp plan, how it works, but I don't know if this might be kind of, I like to give this one for the business model, because then they ask questions and then I can give them this. But you make up what you want to do with your business, but I like to do it that way. And then when I meet with people, I want to cast a vision. Okay, this is the prospect. I go and pick up the book on Thursday, and now they say, yeah, it's not for me. That's cool. Others say, I'm not sure. I don't want to do the business, but I want to know a little bit more on how to get my products paid for. So now that's my indication that let's sit down, and I'm going to show them, first thing I'm going to show them, you all know this, the income disclosure sheet. And sometimes I put the income disclosure sheet inside here when they take the book. That helps too. But casting a vision, remember how we talked about that? Number one thing is give them the income disclosure, because you're going to cast a vision for them logically. So when you look at that income disclosure, and you see the possibility of, let's say it's $6,000 a year, okay? That doesn't seem like a lot for a year, but now connect that for them. That could be a vacation. That could be a really a big chunk to pay down a car loan. That could be a new living room furniture. That could be a lot of things. So you're going to connect that vision logically to something that's special to them. A gold level is $75,000 a year. Gold level, $75,000 a year. Connect that. What does that mean? That's a check that could pay down debt. That's a check that would make a difference to many families. That's a check that builds security. That's a check for all the fun money on the side of your career. Whatever it is to you and that person, connect that for them logically. The second way to cast a vision is emotionally. If you know something's very close to someone's heart, as you're connecting it logically, you can actually throw in the emotion into that. For example, there was a young gal that was looking at the business, and I knew she and her husband, it was very important that they sponsor a child. And in fact, her husband was going to school, working full time, and he took on a second job so they could keep their commitment to sponsoring that child. So I knew that was a hot button for them. And they wanted her to be at stay at home because she had 2 little kids. And so I said, have you ever considered, now this is the emotional level. I said, and here's a key word, have you ever considered? Okay, you might want to write that down. Have you ever considered? But have you ever considered that if you did build this business and interwove it with your life right now, what if your husband could just work his normal job? That way he has time to be home with your kids and you can still keep your commitment to the one child. But let me have you consider this. What if your business continues to grow and now you're able to sponsor 2 children as your paycheck raises? And what if your Young Living business continued and now your husband could go to school full time and not have to work? What would that mean to you and your family? And then let's say now your husband graduates and you've graduated Young Living to either a high silver or gold. Now look at the income disclosure. Do you see that gold, what the golds make? Can you imagine if your husband could focus on his schooling, not have to work? You can sponsor more than 2 children now. You're probably sponsoring 4 children. Can you imagine? Now there's the word. Can you imagine? That's a word phrase that you may want to use with people. Can you imagine what that would be if you did that? Now, some of you have even said that to yourself. Can you imagine if I didn't have to keep working at my job that's stressing me out? Can you imagine if I didn't have to work the night shift anymore? That's where we connect this business emotionally. So we cast a vision logically, we cast a vision emotionally, and now the last one is the visionary part. And that's where I say, wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing if you and your husband were at home and he could do his career that he just finished school with just because he liked to do it? Wouldn't it be amazing if you had no more night shifts and you were able to be home with your children? or your dog or whatever it is? Wouldn't it be amazing if your family could take a vacation whenever they wanted? So that's the vision then is, wouldn't it be amazing? And then I like to ask people, what are those someday dreams that you say, wouldn't it be amazing? So for example, if somebody's really into music, maybe their vision would be that they could just go and share music as a mission or something. I don't know. But you'd go, wouldn't it be amazing if your business was able to feed that vision? For me, it was security. That was a big core value of mine. So wouldn't it be amazing if that I had built a very solid security fund and I created an income that could be ongoing, that surpassed my current income? So logically, emotionally, visionary. So logically, and then emotional connection means, can you imagine? And then the visionary is, wouldn't it be amazing if? And that's your someday dreams. Okay, so now the reality check. So we've talked about follow-up and we talked about consistency is the key. But now we want to do a reality check. Is that some people, like as we know, and I want Leslie and Megan to comment on this in a minute, but we can't start this business and expect that you're going to be paid whatever, $50,000 a month. That's not logical, because you have to grow a business, right? And so you've got to get in that mindset that when you start a business, you're going to be investing into that business with no return. The return is going to be in the future, right? And Sarah, I know you're just starting, but you can even talk about, because you and your husband own a construction business, and you didn't earn good money day one out of the job, did you? Yeah, it grows. So it doesn't matter what type of business you have, we have to start with the reality check, is that we have to start at the bottom level and invest and learn the foundation and keep going until we grow that business into a diamond business. So we do have to commit to consistent hours. And you can do what the gals did, where it interweaves with what they're doing right now, or it can be a block on a Saturday. Maybe your husband can watch the kids or something, and you have an hour on a Saturday morning or something like that. But I want to share with you, when you're first starting out, when I was a teacher, let's say we make about $4,000 a month. Okay? I had to show up at work, didn't I? I had to do my job. Otherwise, I wouldn't get paid. Well, the same is true with Young Living. You got to show up. You got to put in the time. You've got to put in the effort. And you have to grow the business. And you have to know that when you do these actions, the actions work every time. So if you want $3,000 a month, I always say divide that by $20 an hour or whatever, and you've got the number of hours you should be working, approximately. Now, you're not going to be paid what you're worth in the beginning, but you're going to be paid 10 times what you're worth as your business grows. Does that make sense? So I'll tell you right now, I'm overpaid right now. I work hard, but I'm overpaid. But I paid the dues in the beginning, right? And that's what you're doing now, is you're going to put in that time and effort to grow a solid foundation. You're going to put in the time to equip other people to duplicate, so then that you go to the upper ranks and now you're paid more than is expected. So even as a new startup, I want you to think about this. This is key, so listen carefully. Whatever you do, whatever actions you're taking in your calendar, whatever income producing actions you're taking, are they worth $500 an hour? And the reason I say that, you are going toward a diamond level. And a diamond, on an average, will make $500 an hour. Those are the actions that duplicate. So when I figured that out, I decided that I could give up book club for a couple of years. I decided that maybe my gardens didn't have to be perfectly weeded. Maybe I could let that go for a couple of years. Maybe I could do a little less of something for a couple of years. Do you hear what I'm saying? I had to choose carefully. If I wanted to be a diamond, everything I did had to be worth $500 an hour. So now, if I was to clean my desk, is that part of the $500 an hour I should be getting paid by a CEO? No, that would be on my off time, right? I can clean my desk on my off time. But the time that I'm truly focused on my work, I want to make sure that I'm all in. And so if some CEO was looking over my shoulder, I want them to say, Connie is worth $500 an hour. She is making me $500 an hour by the action she's taking. What are those actions? Follow up, those mailings, education, face-to-face contact with people, teaching classes. Those are $500 an hour income producing activities. Cleaning your desk is not. Organizing your notes is not. Planning a class is not. Now you have to plan a class, but it's not the $500 an hour one. Okay, is that helpful, everybody? That really helped me in deciding how to use my time wisely, because I wanted to be a diamond. So I'm looking at my notes, and I've covered my notes, but I would like, the topic is follow-up and casting a vision. So I would like some comments, Leslie or Megan, that you can give tips why you guys are fast growing, and it can be tips on the follow-up for prospecting. It could be follow-up to the people that came to your class, or even more curious, what do you say to cast the vision for the business? Because both of you are dynamite at that. Any comments you would like to share with these new business builders, and give them your tip on how you cast that vision or what you do for follow-up?
Okay, I'll go. Basically, I just listen to whatever Connie says, and that's what I do.
So, okay, that's funny. But number one, you're coachable. You know that if these are the steps that duplicate, then you're going to do them, right? So that means being coachable. So I have a feeling you have instilled that in your team though, too. Would you say they're coachable too?
Yes. And well, number one, you're a Royal Crown Diamond. You started this, you know how to get to the top, and that's what I want to do. So I obviously know that you know what you're talking about. So I did everything that you taught in the first business class that I was on. Follow-up is huge, and it's so much fun. And then what else? So follow-up is key, but I think having met you in person and knowing that you're a real person and that you're doing this made it, I can do that. And so I have that attitude, and I can see how you love what you're doing. You're always smiling. You're always happy. That's how I feel anytime that if my phone rings, I have two phones, one for the lodge and then one for my personal phone, which doesn't ring a whole lot. But when my lodge phone rings, I'm like, oh man. And then when I have somebody asking something about Young Living, I'm like, oh, yay. Like that's my favorite part of the day is working on Young Living. So, but the follow-up is key, building relationships. I've worked remotely. I'm on the road a lot, so I haven't had a big community, and I've moved a lot. So I don't have friends that I go hang out with until now. I get to spend time with people that I care about. I'm surrounding myself with people that I care about as I'm introducing them to Young Living, as they're joining, as they're falling in love with Young Living, and it gets more fun every day. And then casting the vision, I start even with the welcome letter. Once they enroll, I put the income disclosure in there so they know about the business, because I don't remember ever hearing about the business until 3 years after I joined. Had I heard about it earlier, I would, who knows, it'd be totally different now. So I want everyone to know that this opportunity is available to all of us just by buying a starter kit and taking our health seriously. So it's in the welcome kit. It's been in our newsletter once already. We have a Facebook group where I share stuff about the business. When people uprank, we congratulate them in there. So I just try to make it part of what this is all about, because people's circumstances change all the time. Someone can be like, oh, I love my job, and then the next day they have no job, which happened to me 2 times. So you never know where anyone is at in life, and you never know when their circumstances are going to change, and they may need this. So I want everyone to know that we have this opportunity, and there's no opportunity like it that I've ever seen. So
that's awesome. I love a couple of things that you said. In your welcome letter, you do include the income disclosure right away because you want them to know. You don't know what people are saying. And I love that you have a deep belief in the business model. You have a deep belief in what it can do for people. And your passion oozes. And I think that you attract people, more business people, because of that deep belief. And I think that's why part of the reason you're so successful. So congratulations on silver.
Thank you.
And I posted on the group. I hope you didn't mind. I didn't even ask permission, but it was Megan had been a product user for a long time. We just happened to run into each other at a 101 class. And then she started with the business, and the rest is history. Well, it was a 101 class that after you had been a product user for several years, right? You're just kind of coming to see something new. And so you don't know when people's passion or the timing will kick in. So never give up on people. But I think that deep belief in the business model, if the more you can read about the power of network marketing and the joy of Young Living and the deep belief you have in the business model, the faster the success you will have. Okay, Leslie, you tend to ooze passion as well. I love listening to you talk about everything. And last week we heard about your special way of saying the marriage of the products and the essential rewards. But you also passionately talk about the business to everybody.
Right, yeah, I do. I've learned that. And I'm like Megan said, I was introduced to the business and was kind of just didn't know anything about it. And then when I started researching it, I realized this is a company that you can not only buy product from and love, it's a business. And when I reached out to you and said, can you help me here? I've tried to follow you as a model, because it's like one of the things that I know that you always say, surround yourself by the people that you want to become or be like or be at that level. And that's something that's resonated with me. And I really, when I talk with my team and I'm bringing them in, I think of everybody going with me. It's like, I'm not just like this, it's going to be like this. And I think, and I think when you do that, and I'm so in love with Young Living's products, but then I was amazed about network marketing because I knew nothing. And I thought I could stand right at the same starting line as a doctor who spent all those years becoming a doctor. And all I have to do is work harder and run faster. And I'm going to get to that finish line before he is. And he's got all that more education. And to me, that was amazing. I mean, it just amazed me that I could truly do it with somebody that's not even on the same playing field as me. But we all started that starting line. And that's where I think my enthusiasm and my passion and my want for everybody, it comes out of every pore of me. So when you talk to me and you visit with me and I share with you, it's like, it's kind of, I think I'm a little bit contagious.
Yes.
And when you're contagious like that, everybody wants to get that. And I've seen that when I've gone to conferences and things, I've seen that, and that I want there. So when I leave, I'm like, I want that. And then when I'm going to take that home, so when somebody looks at me, they go, I want that. And that's just how I've kind of done things.
And it's brilliant, Leslie. One of the things I think is because of your sincerity of how much you love people. That's such a great description. Every pore in you pours out that love and the sincere care that you have for people. And that's another reason you're successful, is when you're genuine and you are truly authentic in who you are. I can't be a Leslie, I can't be a Megan, but I can be the best Connie that there is. Same thing with you. I was talking to Jody, wave Jody. I loved visiting with her for the first time, and I could feel her genuine care for people coming out in that first phone call. And that's an indicator to me who's going to go to the top, is when they have that passion and care for people. And yes, we want to make a good business, but when service comes first, you're going to be more successful than somebody who's focused on me. I got to get that money. No, if you focus on service and giving other people value, the profits will come. The other thing I love, Leslie, and golly, I got tears in my eyes when you said, I love that we all start at the same starting line. And I wrote it down, as long as I work harder and run faster, I'm on the same playing field as everyone else. And so what was interesting is I went out for dinner last night, and very successful people, and they were talking about, it was old high school friends. So I don't even know if they know my business exactly. And we got talking about some of the tax changes and medical care and things like that. And then they were talking about these jobs in Now let me see if I get the right, they're talking about the newer jobs coming up as the anesthesiologists, and how that's a good career field to get into nowadays, and people are retraining, and even the nurses make the 100,000 a year in that job. And I was kind of smiling because these are real country issues. But when you look at the income disclosure, do you realize that every one of you, just as Leslie says, we all start at the same starting line, and we don't even have to go to school. Instead of 100,000 a year, you can be making 100,000 a month. So I just smiled. But my little prospecting head says I'm going to be writing some letters and some notes, and making some awakenings, let's put it that way. But I just think that's really something we all have to be aware of, is people, like young people, have to find jobs that are going to support them, because medical care is getting expensive. We're not getting the tax breaks we once had. So they have to find these jobs that pay enough so they can just afford to live. Well, I'm here to tell you, all of you on this call, starting a business with Young Living, as we said one of the first nights, keep your career. But as you grow Young Living and it matches your career and then surpasses your career, this is your security. This is what's going to make the life of your dreams. Keep your day job as long as you can, because when you take Young Living as an extra, you're going to change your lifestyle. This is going to build your security and your future. Jim Rohn always said, I work full-time on my job and part-time on my future. So if you do that, you're going to build your security. And as you're seeing, you're going to build a dream life that you can enjoy, whatever that looks like for you. And you can be making good career money without having to go to additional schooling and stuff just to get by in life. We want to live life. So I love it. I love what you said, Leslie. We all start on that same starting line. We just got to put in the hustle and run. and even if we have a gimp, we can still run and we can still hustle, and we can all make it to the top. That's what I love about this business too, is that every single person has the same opportunity, but you gotta have deep belief in your products, deep belief in the business model, and deep belief in yourself. And you will run as fast as Leslie in that. So any other comments or questions about follow-up?
Hey, Connie, this is Laura. I have a question on follow-up.
Awesome.
And mine is more towards timing. Last Saturday, I did have a class, and one of the ladies I invited was very interested, and she came back with, I can't afford it. But she says, I'm very interested. So I know I want to go back to her because she wants the oils to for her health, for her daughters. They have bad headaches, and she wants to start using them to kind of see what she can do to help them in that area. So how long do I wait? This class was just this past Saturday before I follow up with her.
Well, I would call her tonight or tomorrow, and I would say this. I would say, what was her name? Or, well, you don't have to say.
Alyssa.
I'll just say, Alyssa, I've been thinking, I know you really have a deep interest in the oils and how they can help you. And I want to share something with you. I don't know if you've ever considered this, but you know Young Living pays referral commissions. And so what I do is I just have a few friends around my kitchen table, and we have a lot of fun trying and going through and understanding the value of the oils. And if you want to do that at your house, I'll very happily come over and we can do that together. And then if they decide to set up their kit, we'll just enroll you first. Your kit will be paid for with those enrollments.
Brilliant. Didn't even think of that. Thank you.
That's why I'm wearing my Ooh La La shirt.
Didn't even think of that. Okay, I'm doing it.
Awesome. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to